park, Dohan was checking medical supplies when the alarm started screaming. Red lights flashed across the ceiling of the medical bay. He dropped the box he was holding and ran to the door. "All crew to stations," Captain Bora's voice came through the speakers. "We have a distress signal. The Lani Royal Transport under attack. Prepare for rescue operations." Dohan felt his heart beat faster. The Villani were not friends of humanity. For 50 years, the two species had watched each other with cold eyes across the stars. But Captain Bora was not the kind of woman who let politics decide who lived and who died. The research vessel, Horizon's Edge, turned toward the source of the signal. Through the windows, Dohan could see the wreckage floating in space. Pieces of a beautiful silver ship drifted like broken dreams. Fire still burned in some sections, feeding on the last of the oxygen. "Medical team, prepare for survivors," Bora ordered. Dohan grabbed his emergency kit and joined the rescue team at the airlock. Dr. Minji, his friend and fellow doctor, stood beside him. Her face was pale. "Villani," she whispered. "Their biology is completely different from ours. I don't know how much we can help them." "We try anyway," Dohan said. The rescue shuttle flew them to the wreckage. Dohan had seen death before, but this was different. The attack had been brutal. Whoever did this wanted everyone dead. They found bodies of Villani soldiers floating in the darkness. Their silver skin had turned gray in death. Then Dohan heard something. A weak sound, like a bird trying to sing with a broken voice. He followed it deeper into the ruined ship, climbing over twisted metal and broken walls. He found her in what must have been a royal chamber. She lay on the floor in a pool of silver blood. Her skin was pale silver, like moonlight made solid. Her hair was white as fresh snow. Even dying, she was the most beautiful being Dohan had ever seen. But beauty meant nothing if she died in the next few minutes. "I found a survivor," he called into his radio. "Badly wounded. I need help now." He knelt beside her and checked her injuries. A deep wound in her side. But worse than that, her veins had turned black under her silver skin. Poison. Someone had poisoned her. Her eyes opened. They were violet, deep as the space between stars. She looked at him with confusion and fear. "Human," she whispered. Her voice was weak, but still carried the sound of authority. "Why? Why are you here?" "To help you," Dohan said. "Stay still. We're going to get you out." "No. No point." She coughed, and silver blood came from her lips. "The poison, it was made for me. Made for royal blood. Nothing can stop it." The rescue team arrived. They carefully moved her to the shuttle and then to the Horizon's Edge. In the medical bay, Dohan and Minji worked desperately to save her. But nothing they did helped. Human medicine did not work on Villani bodies. "Her blood is dying," Minji said, staring at the scanner. "The poison is destroying her blood cells. They can't carry oxygen anymore. Her organs will fail within hours." Captain Bora entered the medical bay. Her face was serious. "Do you know who she is?" "A Villani noble," Dohan guessed. "She is Princess Yuna, only daughter of the Villani Emperor, heir to their entire empire." Bora let that sink in. "If she dies on my ship, it could mean war." Dohan looked at the dying princess. War, politics, empire. These words meant nothing to him right now. He only saw a young woman fighting to breathe, fighting to live just one more minute. "There has to be something," he said. He studied the scans again and again. Minji was right. The poison killed her blood cells. Without blood that could carry oxygen, she would die. They had no Villani blood to give her. They had no Villani medicine, but they had human blood. "Minji," Dohan said slowly, "look at this." He pointed at the molecular structure of Villani blood on the screen. Then he pulled up human blood beside it. Minji stared. Her eyes went wide. The hemoglobin, she breathed. The structure is similar. Not the same, but similar. Similar enough? I don't know. It could save her. Or it could kill her faster. Human blood might be poison to her body. Doan looked at Princess Yuna. Her breathing was getting weaker. The black lines in her veins were spreading. She had maybe 2 hours left. Maybe less. I'll do it, he said. Use my blood. Dawn, this is insane. We don't know what will happen. You could kill her. You could kill yourself. She's dying anyway. We have to try. Captain Bora stepped forward. This is your choice, Dohan. I won't order you to do this. But I won't stop you either. Dohan sat down beside the princess. Minji prepared the equipment with shaking hands. She connected tubes from Dohan's arm to Yuna's arm. Red human blood began to flow towards silver Vellani veins. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Yuna's body jerked violently. Her back arched off the table. Alarms screamed from every monitor. Her heart rate went crazy, up and down and up again. Stop it! Minji shouted. We're killing her! But Dohan grabbed her hand. Wait, look. The black lines in Yuna's veins were fading. Slowly, like shadows running from sunrise, the poison was retreating. Her breathing, though still fast, was getting stronger. Then Dohan felt something strange. A pulling sensation in his chest. Not pain exactly, but something deeper. Like a door opening inside him that he never knew existed. The world spun. His vision went dark. The last thing he heard before losing consciousness was Minji screaming his name. Dohan woke up slowly, like swimming up from deep water. His body felt strange, heavy and light at the same time. And there was something else. Something new inside his mind. A warm presence, like sitting next to a fire on a cold night. He opened his eyes. White ceiling. Medical bay. He was alive. Finally, Minji said. She was sitting beside his bed, dark circles under her eyes. You've been unconscious for 3 days. 3 days? Dohan tried to sit up. His head hurt. The princess. Is she alive because of you? Minji's voice was tired but amazed. Your blood saved her. The human hemoglobin bonded with her cells. It pushed out the poison. She's weak, but she will live. Dohan let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. But that warm presence in his mind grew stronger. He could feel emotions, not his own emotions. Someone else's. Confusion, curiosity, and a strange sense of connection. Something happened, he said. Something more than just a blood transfusion. Before Minji could answer, the door opened. Captain Bora walked in, followed by several Vellani soldiers in silver armor. Their faces showed no emotion, but their hands rested on their weapons. Behind them came a tall Vellani male. His silver skin was darker than the princess's, almost gray. His eyes were cold as winter ice. Gold marks on his armor showed his high rank. This is High Commander Taiwan, Bora said carefully. He arrived with a Vellani fleet 2 days ago. He has questions. Taiwan looked at Doan like a man looking at an insect. So this is the human who dared to touch royal blood. I saved her life, Doan said. You contaminated her. Taiwan's voice was sharp as a blade. You put your primitive blood into the air of our empire. In our laws, this crime is punished by death. Dohan felt a flash of fear. But under the fear, there was anger too. And strangely, he felt that warm presence in his mind grow stronger, as if responding to his emotions. Your princess was dying, he said. Would you rather I let her die? Taiwan stepped closer. You know nothing of what you have done, human. Nothing of the consequences. The door opened again. An old Vellani entered, leaning on a staff made of crystal. Unlike the soldiers, his robes were simple, and his face was kind. But when he looked at Dawn, his eyes went wide with shock. "Impossible," the old one whispered. "Elder Sunho," Taiwan said impatiently. "What is impossible?" The elder walked slowly to Dohan's bed. He reached out a thin hand and touched Dohan's forehead. Dohan felt a gentle touch in his mind, like someone knocking on a door. And then, in that warm presence he had been feeling, there was a response. A voice. Not words exactly, but meaning. A question. "Who are you?" The elder pulled back his hand. His face was pale. "The Sao binding," he said. "It has happened." The room went silent. Even Taiwan looked shocked. "That cannot be," the commander said. "The Sao binding is legend. It has not happened in 10,000 years. Yet it has happened now." Elder Sunho turned to face everyone. "When this human gave his blood to save the princess, their souls touched. They have bonded. They are connected now, mind to mind, heart to heart. They will feel each other's emotions. They will share each other's pain. They cannot be separated for long without growing weak." Dohan tried to understand what he was hearing. "You're saying I'm connected to the princess? Forever?" "The Sao binding cannot be broken," Sunho said gently. "In ancient times, this was how our royalty chose their eternal partners. It required perfect compatibility of blood and spirit. It should be impossible with another species. Yet here you are." The warm presence in Dohan's mind shifted. He felt surprise, fear, and underneath it all, a small spark of wonder. These were not his feelings. They were hers. Princess Yuna was awake, and she could feel him too. "Where is she?" Dohan asked. "In the next room," Minji said. "She woke up this morning." Dohan stood up, ignoring the dizziness. He pushed past the Vellani soldiers. No one stopped him. Even Taiwan seemed too shocked to react. He found her sitting up in bed, looking out the window at the stars. When he entered, she turned her head. Their eyes met. And in that moment, Doan felt everything she was feeling wash over him like a wave. Confusion about what had happened. Grief for the guards who died protecting her. Fear of this strange new connection. And curiosity about the human standing before her. "You saved my life," she said. Her voice was stronger now, but still soft. "I felt myself dying. I felt myself dying. Then I felt you. Your warmth. Your blood fighting for me." She paused. "Why did you do it? You did not know me. Your people and mine are not friends. Why risk yourself?" Dahan thought about the question. He could feel her waiting for his answer, not just with her ears, but with her mind. "Because you needed help," he said simply. "That's all. You needed help, and I could give it." She studied him for a long moment. Such a simple answer. "My people would have asked about politics, about advantage, about what you hope to gain. I'm just a medic. I don't think about politics. I think about people." Through their bond, he felt something shift in her. The fear faded a little. In its place came something warmer. Not trust exactly, not yet, but the beginning of it. "I am Yuna," she said. "I know. I'm Doan." She almost smiled. "I know. I have felt your name in your mind for 3 days." Behind them, Taiwan's voice cut through the moment. "This changes nothing. The human has bonded himself to our princess without permission. Our laws are clear." Elder Sunho shook his head. "The cell binding is older than any law. It is sacred. To harm him would be to harm her. Can you not see? Their lives are one now." Yuna spoke, and her voice carried the power of royalty. "The human saved my life, Commander. I will not let him be punished for that. And this bond." She looked at Dohan, and he felt her determination mixing with his own. "This bond is mine to carry, not yours to judge." Taiwan's jaw tightened. Your father will decide this matter. Then take me to my father. Yuna stood up slowly. She was weak, but she did not fall. We will go together. Both of us. She held out her hand to Doan. He looked at it for a moment. This silver hand that belonged to an alien princess, a member of a species that had feared and avoided humanity for 50 years. Then he took it. Their fingers intertwined, silver and brown, and through the bond. He felt her relief and her courage. Whatever came next, they would face it together. 2 months had passed since the Sal binding. Doan was learning what it meant to share his life with another person in the deepest way possible. When Yuna was happy, warmth spread through his chest like sunlight. When she was sad, he felt a weight in his heart that was not his own. When she had nightmares about the attack, he woke up in his own room, breathing hard, feeling her fear as if it were his dad, and she felt everything from him too. They could not be more than a few kilometers apart. When they tried, both grew weak and dizzy. The bond was not just emotional. It was physical. Their lives were truly connected. The Vellani Emperor had not killed Doan. Elder Sunho's words about the sacred nature of the Sal binding had protected him. But the Emperor had also not welcomed him. Doan was kept on a Vellani station, watched by guards, allowed to see Yuna only at certain times. They don't trust you, Yuna said during one of their meetings. They sat in a garden filled with alien flowers that glowed softly in the dim light. My people fear what they do not understand, and they have never understood humans. Do you trust me? Doan asked. Through the bond, he felt her answer before she spoke it. I feel your heart, Doan. I know you have no evil in it. Yes, I trust you. These words meant more to him than he expected. Commander Taiwan was still their greatest problem. He believed Doan was a threat. He watched them constantly, looking for any excuse to separate them or to prove that humans were dangerous. One evening, Doan was walking back to his room when he felt something strange through the bond. Fear. Sharp. Sudden fear that was not his own dot. Yun a dot. He started running. He did not know where she was, but the bond pulled him like a rope tied to his heart. Through corridors, upstairs, past confused guards who shouted at him to stop, he found her in a small reading room. 2 Vellani stood over her. They wore no uniforms, no marks of rank. Assassins. One held a blade that glowed with blue energy. Your family's time is over, princess, one assassin said. The old ways must end. Doan did not think. He did not plan. He just moved. He crashed into the first assassin from behind, knocking the blade away. The second assassin turned, surprised that a human had appeared. His plasma pistol came up. Doan grabbed Yuna and pulled her behind him. The plasma bolt hit him in the chest. Pain exploded through his body. He had never felt anything like it. Hot and cold at the same time. His legs gave out. He fell to his knees, then onto his back. Through the bond, he felt Yuna's horror, her scream echoing both in the room and in his mind. Guards burst in seconds later. The assassins fought, but they were outnumbered. Doan did not see what happened to them. His vision was going dark. Doan? Stay with me. Yuna's face appeared above him. Silver tears fell from her violet eyes. Please, please stay with me. Through the bond, he felt her pain. Not physical pain. Emotional pain. The fear of losing him was tearing her apart. I'm okay, he lied. Everything went black. He woke up in a medical room. White walls. Soft light. And pain. So much pain. Dr. Minji stood beside his bed. Her face was wet with tears, but she was smiling. You absolute fool, she said. You beautiful, stupid fool. What? What happened? The plasma bolt hit you directly in the chest. It should have killed you instantly. That's what happens to Villani, who takes such wounds. She shook her head in amazement. But you're human. Your body. Dohan, your body started healing itself. Your heart stopped for 2 minutes, then started again on its own. Your tissue is regenerating faster than I've ever seen. Dohan tried to understand. Humans don't heal that fast. No, we don't. But the bond with Yuna seems to have changed something. Our cells and your cells have been mixing since the blood transfusion. Her royal blood has certain properties, healing properties. And it seems your human resilience has combined with her Villani biology to create something new. The door opened. Yuna rushed in, pushing past guards and doctors. She fell to her knees beside his bed and took his hand. "You're alive," she whispered. Through the bond, he felt her relief so strong it almost hurt. "I felt you die, Dohan. For 2 minutes, I felt nothing. Empty. Cold. I thought I had lost you. I came back," he said. "I'll always come back." Behind Yuna, Commander Taiwan stood in the doorway. His face was unreadable. He had seen everything. The human throwing himself in front of royal plasma fire. The human dying to protect the Villani princess. "You saved her life," Taiwan said. His voice was strange, like he was speaking words he never expected to say. "Again, she's important to me," Dawn said simply. Taiwan stepped closer. "I watched the security recording. I watched you take that blast. Any Villani would have died. But you survived through pure will, through stubbornness." He paused. "We have stories of humans. We call you weak because you live such short lives. We call you primitive because your technology is young. But watching you refuse to die." He shook his head slowly. "Perhaps we have misunderstood what strength truly means." Dr. Minji spoke up. "Humans evolved as persistence predators on our home world. We hunted by chasing prey until they collapsed from exhaustion. Our bodies are built to endure, to keep going when any logical being would stop. It's in our blood, in our bones." Taiwan looked at Dohan with new eyes. "Then perhaps your blood was exactly what our princess needed." Later that night, the Villani Council met. The assassins had been captured and questioned. They belonged to a faction that wanted to overthrow the royal family and establish a new order. They had organized the original attack on Yuna's ship. They had planted the poison designed for royal blood, and they had failed because of one human medic who did not know when to quit. The Emperor himself came to see Dawn the next day. He was old, his silver skin faded to pale white, but his eyes were sharp. "You have saved my daughter twice," the Emperor said. "The first time, you gave your blood. The second time, you gave your life, even though you got it back. I cannot ignore this. The old ways say a human cannot bond with our kind. But the universe seems to disagree." He placed a small crystal in Dohan's hand. It glowed with soft inner light. "This marks you as a friend of the Villani throne. You are no longer a prisoner. You are a guest. My daughter's fate is tied to yours now. I must trust that the universe knew what it was doing when it bound you together." After the Emperor left, Yuna sat beside Dohan's bed. Through the bond, he felt her emotions changing. The fear and confusion of the past months was fading. In its place grew something warmer, deeper. "You almost died for me," she said. "I would do it again." She leaned down and pressed her forehead to his. "I know. I feel it in you. This is not politics for you. This is not strategy. You simply care. How do humans do that? How do you love so freely?" Dohan smiled weakly. "I don't know. Maybe that's just how we're made." Through the bond, he felt her response. Not words, just warmth, gratitude, and the beginning of something that might, one day, become love. Outside the window, stars burned in the endless dark. Somewhere out there, Enemies still plotted and dangers still waited. But in this moment, none of that mattered. He was alive. She was safe. And they were together. For now, that was enough. 6 months had passed since the assassination attempt. Do-hun's wound had healed completely, leaving only a small scar on his chest. A reminder of the night he died and came back. He spent his days learning Vellani customs, their language, their history. If he was to stand beside Yuna, he needed to understand her world. Some Vellani helped him kindly. Others watched him with suspicious eyes. A human walking the halls of the royal palace was still a strange sight, but Do-hun also taught them. He shared stories of Earth, of humanity's long struggle to survive. He told them about the ice ages that nearly killed his ancestors, the plagues that swept across continents, the wars that burned cities to ash. And always, humans rebuilt. Humans continued. Humans refused to disappear. Your species has died 1,000 deaths, Commander Taiwan said one day, after listening to Do-hun's stories. Yet here are, still reaching for the stars. That's what humans do, Do-hun said. We fall down. We get back up. We keep going. Taiwan nodded slowly. In the past 6 months, his attitude toward Do-hun had changed completely. He no longer saw the human as a threat. He saw him as something strange and fascinating. A creature that should not exist but did anyway. Yuna's training of Do-hun included combat lessons. She insisted on it. You can't always rely on others to protect you, she said. And I cannot always be there when danger comes. Do-hun was not a natural fighter. His hands were meant for healing, not hurting. But he trained every day, learning Vellani martial arts, practicing until his muscles screamed and his bones ached out. Then the challenge came. Lord Hyunwoo arrived at the palace on a day of celebration. He was tall, even for a Vellani, with dark silver skin and eyes like frozen stars. His family was old and powerful, second only to the royal family. For centuries, they had hoped to unite their bloodline with the throne. Hyunwoo had expected to marry Princess Yuna. The Sao binding had destroyed those plans. I invoke the right of challenge, Hyunwoo announced before the entire court. His voice echoed through the great hall. The ancient law. When a bond is disputed, when a match is questioned, any noble of high blood may challenge for the right to claim it. The court went silent. Do-hun felt Yuna's fear spike through their bond. The Sao binding cannot be broken, Elder Sunho said from his place beside the emperor. The law does not ask to break it, Hyunwoo replied smoothly. Only to test it. If this human is truly worthy of our princess, let him prove it. In combat, against me. Whispers filled the hall. Hyunwoo's famous throughout the empire as a warrior. He had trained for 300 years. He had fought in 12 wars. No one had ever defeated him. Do-hun had 6 months of basic training. The law allows for a champion, the emperor said carefully. Someone else may fight in your place. Through the bond, Do-hun felt Yuna's desperate hope that he would accept this option. Commander Taiwan stepped forward, ready to volunteer, but Do-hun shook his head. No champion, he said. I'll fight myself. Yuna grabbed his arm. No. He will kill you. Please, let Taiwan fight. If I let someone else fight for me, they will never respect me. They will always see me as weak, as someone who hides behind others. He looked into her violet eyes. I have to do this, Yuna. I have to show them what humans are made of. Through the bond, she felt his determination. It was not foolish pride. It was something deeper. A need to prove that her choice, their bond, was not a mistake. She released his arm. Then fight well, my human, and come back to me. The duel was set for the next day. That night, Do-hun could not sleep. He sat in his room, looking at his hands. Healer's hands. Soft hands. not the hands of a warrior. Taiwan visited him at midnight. You cannot beat him with skill, the commander said bluntly. He has 300 years of experience. You have 6 months. This is simple truth. I know, Do-hun said. But you might beat him with endurance. Taiwan sat down across from him. The duel has no time limit. It continues until one fighter yields or dies. Hyunwoo is powerful, but he has never faced an enemy who simply refuses to fall, who gets up again and again no matter how many times he is knocked down. Taiwan leaned forward. Can you do that, human? Can you take his punishment and keep standing? Do-hun thought about his ancestors. The ones who chased prey across endless plains. The ones who survived ice ages with nothing but fire and stubbornness. The ones who rebuilt after every disaster, every plague, every war. Yes, he said. I can do that. The arena was filled with thousands of Vellani the next day. They came to watch a human die. They expected a quick victory for Lord Hyunwoo. Some even laughed when Do-hun walked onto the sand. Hyunwoo stood waiting, dressed in ceremonial armor that gleamed like mirrors. His sword was long and curved, its edge sharp enough to cut light. Do-hun wore simple training clothes. His weapon was a short staff, the only thing he had learned to use with any skill. This is your last chance to withdraw, Hyunwoo said. Choose a champion. Save your life. No, Do-hun said. Let's finish this. The fight began. Hyunwoo was fast. Faster than anything Do-hun had ever seen. His sword moved like living silver, cutting, slashing, striking. Do-hun blocked what he could and dodged what he could not. But within the first minute, he was bleeding from 3 wounds. The crowd cheered. They smelled blood. They knew how this would end, but Do-hun did not fall. Hyunwoo struck him again and again. Cuts opened on his arms, his legs, his face. Pain screamed through his body. Through the bond, he felt Yuna crying, begging him to yield. He did not yield. 1 hour passed. Do-hun was covered in blood. His left arm hung useless at his side, broken by a powerful blow. But he was still standing, still moving, still fighting. Hyunwoo's confidence began to crack. Why won't you fall? He demanded. You should be dead by now. Humans don't die easy, Do-hun gasped. We're stubborn that way. He swung his staff. It was a weak blow, easily blocked. But it showed that he was not finished, that he would keep fighting until his heart stopped. 2 hours. Do-hun could barely see through the blood in his eyes. His body was broken in a dozen places. Any Vellani would have died long ago, but he was not Vellani. He was human. He remembered his ancestors. He remembered every struggle they had survived. And he poured that memory into his legs, forcing them to hold him up. Hyunwoo attacked again. Do-hun fell. But then, slowly and possibly, he stood back up. The crowd had stopped cheering. They watched in stunned silence. 3 hours. Hyunwoo was breathing hard. His perfect form was slipping. His strikes were slower. He had never fought this long. He had never needed to. Yield, he demanded. His voice was desperate now. Just yield. I don't want to kill you. Then you yield, Do-hun said. Blood bubbled from his lips when he spoke. Because I won't stop. Not today. Not ever. Hyunwoo raised his sword for a final strike. But his arm was shaking. Not from effort. From something else. Fear. He looked at this broken human. This creature that should have died hours ago. And he finally understood. This was not a fight he could win. Not because he lacked skill or strength, but because his opponent simply did not know how to give up. The sword fell from Hyunwoo's hand. I yield, he said. His voice was quiet, but in the silent arena, everyone heard it. Do-hun swayed. His vision went dark. He felt himself falling, But before he hit the ground, arms caught him. Silver arms. Yuna's arms. "You fool," she whispered, holding him close. "You beautiful, stubborn fool." Through the bond, he felt her love. True love, burning bright as any star. "Did I win?" he asked. "You won," she said. "You won everything." Then, finally, he let himself rest. 1 year had passed since the duel. 1 year since a broken human stood against impossible odds and refused to fall. The galaxy had changed. Stories of Dohan's fight spread across 100 star systems. Humans, once dismissed as short-lived primitives, were now seen differently. The Vallani told the tale of the human who died twice and kept coming back. The human whose blood saved a princess. The human who won a duel through pure will. For the first time in 50 years, humans and Vallani worked together. Research stations opened on both borders. Trade routes connected once hostile territories. Scientists from both species shared knowledge and discovered amazing things. Dohan had healed from his injuries, though some scars remained. He did not mind them. They reminded him of what he could survive. Today was the day of the wedding. The ceremony would take place on the Vallani homeworld. In the ancient temple, where royal bonds had been celebrated for 10,000 years. Billions watched across the galaxy. Human ships floated beside Vallani ships in the sky above, a sight that would have been impossible just 2 years ago. Dohan stood at the altar, wearing robes that blended human and Vallani design. White and silver fabric, decorated with symbols from both cultures. Beside him stood Captain Bora and Dr. Minji, his witnesses from the human side. "Nervous?" Minji asked. "Terrified," Dohan admitted. "Good. That means you understand how important this is." The music began. Ancient Vallani instruments played a song that was older than human civilization. And through the temple doors came Princess Yuna. She was beautiful beyond words. Her silver skin glowed in the temple light. Her white hair was decorated with flowers that existed on no human world. Her violet eyes found his across the long aisle, and through their bond, he felt her joy. She walked toward him, step by step, and with each step, Dohan felt the universe shifting. This was not just a wedding. It was a bridge between two species. A promise that the future could be different from the past. Yuna reached the altar. She took his hand, silver fingers intertwining with brown ones. "I love you," she whispered through the bond. Not with words, but with pure emotion. "I love you too," he sent back. The ceremony began. Ancient vows were spoken in the Vallani language, then repeated in human words. Two traditions became one. Then Elder Sunho stepped forward with an announcement that silenced the entire temple. "Before this bond is sealed," he said, "I must share a discovery. Our scientists have studied the cell binding between Dohan and Yuna. They have analyzed his blood, his cells, his very essence. And they have found something remarkable. Screens appeared in the air, showing complex genetic structures. Dohan did not understand the science, but he saw two patterns side by side. One labeled Vallani, one labeled human, and between them, connecting them, shared structures that should not exist. 10 million years ago, Sunho continued, a great civilization seeded life across this galaxy. They were the progenitors, the first intelligent species. When they knew their time was ending, they spread their genetic code across thousands of worlds, hoping that one day their children would find each other again. The crowd murmured. This was ancient history, half-remembered legends that most did not believe. The Vallani are children of the progenitors. We knew this, but what we did not know. Sunho paused. Humans are also their children. The same genetic markers, the same core patterns. Different paths of evolution, yes. Different worlds, different forms, but the same origin. Dohan felt shock ripple through the bond from Yuna, through the crowd, through the galaxy. The cell binding worked because Dohan and Yuna share common ancestors. Not recent ancestors, ancient ones. Ones written into the deepest parts of their being. Sunho smiled, old eyes bright with wonder. Humanity is not a young species stumbling into a galaxy of strangers. They are our family. Lost brothers and sisters finally coming home. Silence filled the temple. Then, slowly, Commander Taiwan began to applaud. Others joined him. The applause grew until it became thunder. Captain Bora wiped tears from her eyes. Dr. Minji was laughing and crying at the same time. "We're family," Minji whispered. "All this time we were family." The ceremony continued. Dawan and Yuna exchanged final vows. Rings were placed on fingers. Human tradition and Vellani tradition, woven together like their lives. When the ceremony ended, they walked out of the temple together. Outside, the sky was filled with ships from a dozen species. Word had spread during the ceremony. Other races wanted to know, were they also children of the progenitors? Were there more lost families waiting to be found? Dahan looked up at those ships and felt hope filling his chest. That night, there was a celebration unlike any the galaxy had seen. Humans and Vellani danced together. Music from both worlds played side by side. Laughter echoed through the palace halls. Dawan and Yuna slipped away to a quiet balcony overlooking the capital city. Below them, lights sparkled like fallen stars. Above them, real stars burned in patterns that humans had gazed upon for thousands of years, dreaming of what might be out there. 1 year ago, Yuna said, "I was dying on a broken ship. I thought my life was over. I could never have imagined this." 1 year ago, Dawan said, "I was just a medic checking supplies. I had no idea I was about to find you. I had no idea I was a..." They stood in comfortable silence, their emotions flowing between them through the bond. Joy, peace, love. So deep it felt like gravity. Commander Taiwan found them there. He stood at attention and offered a formal Vellani salute, the one reserved for the highest respect. "The galaxy is changing because of you two," he said. "Because a human gave his blood without asking for anything in return. Because he kept standing when any sensible being would have fallen. Because he showed us what humans truly are." Taiwan lowered his arm. "I was wrong about your kind. I am honored to have learned the truth." After he left, Yuna leaned against Dohan's shoulder. "Your blood saved me," she said. "But more than that, it showed us who we all really are. Lost children of the same family, separated for millions of years." Dohan looked at the stars. He thought about Earth, that small blue planet where humanity had struggled and survived and dreamed. He thought about all the humans who had looked up at those stars and wondered if they were alone. "We were never alone," he said quietly. "We just didn't know it yet." Yuna took his hand. "And now you do. Now we all do." Somewhere in the palace, Captain Bora was dancing with a Vellani diplomat, laughing at a joke neither of them fully understood. Dr. Minji was deep in conversation with Vellani scientists, planning research that would change medicine forever. And across the galaxy, humans and Vellani were meeting for the first time, shaking hands, sharing meals, beginning friendships that would last generations. All because one medic decided to help a dying stranger. All because he refused to let her die. Dohan smiled. Through the bond, he felt Yuna smile too. "What happens now?" he asked. "Now," she said, "we build something new. Together." She pulled him closer, and they watched the stars together. Two souls, bound by blood and choice. Two species, united by ancient bonds and new hope. The future was vast and unknown. There would be challenges. There would be enemies. There would be moments when everything seemed impossible. But Doan had learned something important about impossible things. Humans did them anyway. And now, with the galaxy watching, he was ready to do them again. The end.